Now our next speaker, Francisco Alarcón. Francisco Alarcón is the Chief Executive Officer of holding Tonicorp. This is a public traded company in Ecuador. Before Tonicorp, he was General Manager of Industrial Lácteas Toni and Plásticos Ecuatorianos, both Tonicorp companies. He earned a BS in Political Science at the Vanderbilt University in Tennessee and his MBA at Vanderbilt at the ONS Graduate School of Management. He was founding Dean of the School of Business and Political Science at Guayaquil University, Casa Grande. He's currently Vice President of the Guayaquil Chamber of Commerce. He was President of the Ecuadorian Plastics Association, and he presides the Latin American Plastic Manufacturers Association. Please join to welcome Francisco Alarcón.
Good afternoon, everybody. Mayor Nebot, Mr. Kronflick, dear guests, I'm very happy to be here. Mayor Nebot said we were here to answer 3 questions about Guayaquil, and I'm going to try to help answer the 3rd question. The 3rd question was, can you do business in Guayaquil? And we've been doing business in Guayaquil for a long, long time. Our companies are 45 and 40 and 35 years old, even though the corporation, Tonicorp, the holding I'm going to talk about, is a recent creation. So we're going to talk about our experience, helping explain how you can do business in Guayaquil. Thank you. Based on our experience. And what is that? Okay. So, what is Tonicorp? Tonicorp is a group of companies, a holding, if you will, that owns 100% of the shares of 3 flagship Ecuadorian and Guayaquilian companies. One of them is Plásticos Ecuatorianos, the other one is Industrial Lácteas Toni, and the other one is Depot. And I'll try to explain to you what they are briefly and the interaction that they have between them. They make up a productive chain. Plásticos Ecuatorianos, that's the picture of the managerial team and the industrial facilities on Vía Daule in Guayaquil. And that's the oldest company. And why do business in Guayaquil? Well, our founder, my father, who's here with us, he's the chairman of the board. He was not born in Guayaquil, he was not raised in Guayaquil. He moved to Guayaquil to do business, because that's the place to do business. That's where industry develops. So he moved, he was already married, my 2 older sisters had already been born, and he went where it's at, which is Guayaquil. Plásticos Ecuatorianos serves 2 market segments today: consumer goods in the form of disposables, cutlery, plates, containers for carry-out mostly, and packaging. And you can see there the names and the logos of a few of the companies that Plásticos Ecuatorianos serves, a few multinationals there. Toni is our flagship company. The holding actually was named after Toni. That's our plant. It was established, that's a mistake, it was established in 1978, by the way. And it was Ecuador's first producer of industrialized yogurt. And it was not easy to teach the country to have this novel drink at the time. It was not easy at all. And today, our product line is made up of the products you see there, which are flavored milk, ready-to-eat gelatin, cream cheese, oatmeal drinks, energy drinks and things like that. And in yogurt, for example, we hold about 70% market share. In flavored milk, it's 85%. Cream cheese is around 80%, and that's taken a lot of hard work. There's a yearly survey amongst Ecuadorians. What are the brands that they respect and they value the most? And Toni always comes up in the top 10. And you can see the names of the brands that we compete against. The first ones are actually direct competitors to us: Coca-Cola, Nestle, and some others. And this is an independent research, not hired by us. And how does a consumer view Toni? because you can be famous but not necessarily respected. They see it as a quality producer, innovative, traditionally, and I like the bottom right the most, committed. And the quote there says, if Tony were, for whatever reason, leave the country and go elsewhere, it would be a hard blow for everybody. A lot of jobs would be lost. That's an actual quote from people who were researched about this. And we've made, of course, a lot of commercial pieces for Tony, but there's one campaign that really sticks out in my mind that I want to share with you, one of the commercials that we use. Do we have volume? We have volume?
Tony es la primera compañía que elabora alimentos funcionales. ¿Pero qué son los alimentos?
Is it audible over there? Thank you very much.
Alimentos que realmente alimenten no hay. Y Tony es la primera compañía que elabora alimentos funcionales. ¿Pero qué son los alimentos funcionales? Son los que tienen propiedades que ayudan a cuidar la salud.
Papá y mamá ya no entran en la ropa. No me digas. Ya está aquí. Están felices filmando el hijo. Ahí está. No lo había visto que estaba por acá. No, esta gente es trabajadora, ¿no? Y exitosa. Serios.
Value-added nutrition. We may be an underdeveloped country, but that does not mean that the population does not deserve to eat well and to get value-added out of it. Alimentos funcionales. Every Tony product has to have something in it that is good for you or that it helps your health. And the third company that makes up the group is Tonicorp. Tonicorp is the logistics, the commercial arm, the sales arm of Tonicorp. And it's Tonicorp's sales force, if you will. Our chain goes from farm to table, basically, or from farm to stores. And we need to make sure that every store in the nation gets our products at the same price regularly so our consumers can find our product. Tonicorp has 90,000 customers, which get served weekly, some of them twice a week, in fact, about half of them. It has 21 distribution centers. That may not be a lot for a country like the United States, but Ecuador is a small country. 21 distribution centers is a lot of depth. You're going to see it in a map soon. 350 trucks, 2,100 workers out of the 3,100 workers that Tonicorp has. A lot of warehouse space, and a lot of our sales come from outside suppliers, in fact. That's a map of our distribution centers in Ecuador. It's pretty intense. That's what we need in order to reach our consumers regularly. And these companies make up a productive chain. That's why a centralized corporate governance makes sense. Plásticos Ecuatorianos sells about a third, a little more than a third of its sales for packaging to Tony. And just about all the sales of Tony go to Tonicorp. That other 4% is exports and a few industrialized products. And Plásticos Ecuatorianos, in turn, it's consumer products. It sells directly to Tonicorp, so they get sold to, final customers. So the interrelation between these companies is very intertwined. They all depend on one another. So we decided to build a holding corporation. Why? These companies have existed for a long, long time, but we realized it got to a point where companies don't only need to be managed. That's very important, but they also need to be governed. Because of accountability issues, and we decided to create a board. Why? Greater debate, more points of view are shared once you go into that direction. There's a lot more strategic guidance. It opens your eyes to a lot of things, this formalization processes. We debated lengthy about a model that adapted to us. These companies are so interrelated that we decided to create just one board, one central board for all of them, and one corporate structure. We hired outside consulting, Pricewaterhouse, to help us recruit our board members. We did not go out and get our best friends or or an excuse of a corporate governance. No, we went out and did it professionally. And there must be very strong owner's commitment in order to have these models succeed, because you've been used to just work within your walls by yourself. And of course, there's changes you need to adapt to, and there needs to be commitment, and there sure has been commitment here in this case. That's our board, which is presided by my father, and the other people are experts in their fields: macroeconomics, marketing, banking, etc. And those are the managers of the companies, plus the corporate structure, which is 3 of us: CFO, Vice President of Corporate Affairs, and myself. And we decided to brand this corporation and name it Tonicorp. In Latin America, there's a big tendency of calling the groups by the last names of the families or something like that. We decided to go corporate, to brand this Tonicorp. Tonicorp is a very new concept. It only has 2 years. We got everybody together from the companies at Hilton Colón, of course. And we made a big event where we launched Tonicorp to everybody, and we explained what it was. And it's not easy if you've worked for a company for 20, 25 years to explain to you the relationship between your company and the holding group and how's that going to affect your life. So we got about 1,000 people together and explained that to them a couple of years ago. And then a different decision, completely separate decision was made to go public. That is very unusual for Ecuador. But we decided to go public. The process lasted over a year, so we're a publicly traded company. We went public in October of 2011, so very recently. The price per share went at $5.50, and these are the shares. Tonicorp holds the shares of all the companies. So when you buy a Tonicorp share, you're buying the shares of these 3 companies that I've mentioned. And right now, 13% is in the public's hands already. The Social Security Institute of Ecuador has bought about 7–8%, and the rest is in the public hands. And why would you go public? If these companies are doing well and are successful and you have total control, why would you do that? Well, because you got to make sure that they will run forever. You got to make sure there's more stakeholders involved. This makes this obligate to be more transparent. We get first-class auditing, and this makes sure that the management stays good for a long, long time. So this is an opportunity. If somebody wants to invest in Guayaquil, I'm not selling advertising, but this is a way you can invest in Guayaquil. We have a public traded company here just for you. At the beginning of, as of March 20, Tonicorp's shares were the most heavily traded in the Ecuadorian capital market, which granted is not that deep, but still this was the #1 traded shares in the country. And we branded this initiative, Welcome to Your Future. We told everybody in Ecuador, welcome to Tonicorp, welcome to your future. Invest here. So we get more shareholders and more stakeholders involved. And in March, we held our first shareholders meeting as a publicly traded company. And when you've been used to not be accountable to outside stakeholders, this is an experience. You have to support your results, and you have to discuss things with new shareholders, which you didn't have to do in the past. And all this makes us commit to develop more. And Tony, our flagship company, needs a new plant. It needs a new plant, and we decided to build it in Guayaquil. This was a fresh start. We could have built a plant anywhere, but we chose Guayaquil because that's where we've always done business. That's where we feel comfortable. That's where we feel welcome. And the new plant is being built as we speak in Guayaquil. And all these steps that I've talked about before have opened the door to a lot of good things. And one of them is the financing we got for this plant. We got I call it world-class financing because it was offered by the IFC, the International Finance Corporation, which is a World Bank affiliate. And we got the loan from them to build a plant, and here with us is a representative of the IFC. Guillermo, we thank you for being here. It was a very good experience for us. It's a $42 million investment, fresh investment for this new plant in Guayaquil once again. And the financing was for $30 million. And what the IFC told us, of course, we asked them after they gave us the loan, why did you give us the loan? And they said the few of the criteria you can see there: good corporate governance, inclusive businesses. We're very into that. I'll talk about that a little bit. We reach into rural areas, development, social well-being, and higher environmental and social standards, and supply of basic product groups. So in May, we went to DC and we signed what for us is a very important loan, a very important milestone in our history. That's us signing it in DC. That got a lot of media coverage, and as well as the IPO. And we branded that goal, reaching new goals. And we did a shared message with IFC telling the country that we had gotten that financing. So if I had to summarize this timeline of the past couple of years, just at the beginning of 2010, not long ago, we decided to adopt a corporate structure. Distribution companies merged. I didn't talk about that, but what is Deeport today used to be 7 companies. They all had to merge into one to have a complete reach. July 2010, we had our first board meeting. It's only 2 years ago. It seems longer. June of 2011, Tonicorp is legally born. That's where you see the pictures of that launching of Tonicorp. October 2011 was our IPO. March 2012 was our first shareholders meeting as a public company. May 2012, IFC loan is signed. And in 2014, we're sure we're going to have our new plant in Tony. So a lot has gone on in this couple of years. And how has that treated you, you're going to ask? And I let the numbers speak for themselves. These are our sales. And by the way, these are consolidated sales. If you add the sales of all 3 companies, you reach almost twice this number, but you got to consolidate them because there's a lot of intercompany sales. So if you go into our audited financial statements, this is what you're going to find. So from 2009, where all this started, we were selling $190 million. In 2011, we sold $271 million. And of course, this outperforms the growth of the country. But more important than sales, what does that do to your profits? Well, they went from $7.5 million in profits to an exponential growth in 2011 to $18 million of consolidated profits. So the sales growth have been around the 20% mark, and the profits have been 43% and 65%. And that was just a matter of reaching low-hanging fruit, making sure that these companies that are so interrelated, things flow well, and a few alignment of things, and a lot of hard work by a lot of people have resulted into this. Social impact. We were one of the first companies. We're one of the first companies to go into inclusive businesses. We buy a lot of milk directly from farmers. A lot of initiatives. Water usage, for example, we used to, in 2002, we used to use 3.3 liters per product that we produce. Now we're down to 187. And business is about people. If you want to have sustainably good results, you gotta make sure your people are okay. We measure yearly our working environment by an outside auditing firm, by Deloitte, and you can see the satisfaction levels, the worker satisfaction levels in our company: 81, 89, 83%. That surpasses many of the multinationals. We get together every time we can after a lot of hard work to socialize and mingle. In Guayaquil, it all started in Guayaquil, as I explained. My father traveled to Guayaquil just to do business. Our new plant is in Guayaquil. And there's our president, who's right here with us. And once again, if you want to invest in Guayaquil, we welcome you to your future as well. Thank you very much.